Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. The spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brien here once again with Rob and Ashley. It's a lovely Tuesday, I suppose. It's been a weekend.
There were
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. That's right. Fuck.
Yeah,
well, see, there you go, getting it wrong right at the bat. Well, it was a very busy, tumultuous weekend. There were a handful of assassination attempts in Pennsylvania this weekend, and we'll get into at least one of those on the show this week.
That's true.
Yeah.
that is actually true.
Pocono happened, and it's interesting because it's not often that the NASCAR fandom tends to all come together and agree on one thing.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. We're a divided nation.
Yes.
Things are tumultuous. There's a lot of confusion. People who would normally agree don't. And we find ourselves at a state of just sort of national tension. But finally, something has happened that has brought us all together.
Yes, and that is Corey Lajoie being a fucking dipshit, and everyone hates him, and they're finally on our side, those who somehow didn't see it before.
This has got to be how Alex Jones feels when he gets something right.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Let's not give Corey that much credit. I mean, granted, he's been the media has kind of shoved him in our faces the last handful of years, and he's got this promise and he's going to do this and he's going to do that, and Dale Jr. said he's going to make the playoffs this year. But guess fucking what, folks? Not only has he barely finished a race this year, he managed to piss off the entire NASCAR world this weekend with one of the most boneheaded moves since Kevin LePage, and we get to talk about it. But there was a whole weekend of racing in Pocono, and who saw what? Because, Rob, we saw you were poolside most of the weekend.
I didn't watch a fucking thing this weekend. I listened to the Cup race on MRN, which they couldn't even really do much with that one.
No, they couldn't.
But I also I enjoyed a very tall, it's called Extreme Twisted Tea. It was a blue raspberry flavor, and that set me off straight to completely ignore most of what was happening. So, but it was a nice day in the pool.
Extreme.
I don't know. Probably the amount of Red 40 and corn syrup in it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I highly recommend it. It was nice. It was kind of lukewarm, which is okay.
Oh God! What are you doing?
It was 100 degrees out there, man. Which by the way, heat finally broke in New England, so I'm turning back into less of a lizard. But that was my entire weekend. So I'll let you guys chat about the race amongst yourselves here while I watch Eldora on the screen over here, because I'm not going to be able to contribute shit to most of this.
Yeah, I mean, I watched most of what happened at the track. I think the truck race was boring. Did you watch any of that, True Love?
I thought the truck race was fine, but there wasn't anything to talk about. Literally, the only note I have from the truck race is that for some unknown reason, Mikey was talking about Clint Boyer, and he called him a cup champion.
Okay.
It's the only thing that happened in the truck race.
He's definitely he's a champion of emptying cups, that's for sure.
Maybe that's what he meant.
Yeah.
So I actually did watch a little bit of the truck race, and the only takeaway I have from it is, there's a lot of talk about whether or not stage breaks should exist at some tracks. I don't know why you'd ever run a 12-lap stage. It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But that's when I turned it off and went on a walk or made my way to the pool or some shit. So.
I mean, it was the Corey Haim show. There really wasn't much going on. I definitely had it on because it was at weird 5:30 on a Friday, so I had it on while I was doing shit, and no recollection of anything interesting happening. So I guess that's all we need to say about that.
Yeah.
Saturday, the Xfinity race was decent. I think.
It was fine.
I mean,
fine. Nothing notable though.
I think I was once again hoping for a Sheldon Creed win, and once again he did not pull it off. Who even won? I'm trying to remember now. Cole Custer. Cole Custer. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who smashed together 2 beer cans that were Stuart Haas brand. Since Busch Light has left Stuart Haas.
Yeah, you got to get rid of those while you still can.
Got to put a label over it.
Good for him. Rob, what's happening?
The pride of Benton, Arkansas, Landon Crawley just had an issue fighting for the transfer here at Eldora. But anyway, continue, please. I think
Did Brien quit now?
he quit. Yeah, he wants to see what happened here. Let's see here. So yeah, Crawley was fighting with Tanner Thorson here, and he kind of got clear at Thorson. Looks like something just happened to his car. That's a damn
kitten.
shame.
The kitten is like rolling in the cables right now.
That's so cute. You got to take a picture of it. Yeah, but I'm a big Landon Crawley fan. He's from around where my family's from, so hate to see that for Landon.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the Xfinity race. Yeah, it sounds like Cole Custer is going to be in the Haas car next year. I saw some more things on Twitter this weekend. So
is that so?
Good to see him getting another victory.
Well, I like Cole Custer, man, and I hated to see how his Cup career panned out. That was a bummer. So nice to see him start winning races again, and hopefully that translates. We'll see how that Haas deal actually works out.
Yeah, I've never had anything bad to say about Cole Custer. Seems all right to me. So,
Yeah.
trying to think what else happened in that race too. Though, do you have any notes? I mean, I thought it was
I don't
fine.
have any notes from in the race, really. There was a point where Sam Mayer spun out SVG, and then
Oh yeah.
SVG kind of got caught in the very back, and then someone else spun him, and then he gave a great interview afterwards saying that some wobbler spun him for 83rd, which was
That's awesome.
yeah.
Wobbler sounds like an Australian slur, so I'm into it.
Yeah.
Apparently it means drunk driver, which makes it even better. So.
That's awesome. Perfect. That's great. Wonderful.
Well, speaking, he was actually took that in stride. Someone who didn't take their contact in stride was Chandler Smith, who was also very mad at Sam Mayer. And again, I saw this on Twitter, and I very much liked that. Him with his little head sock on, screaming into
saying
Sam Mayer's
every
car.
curse word he's ever heard
Yeah,
directly into
for
Sam's
his child,
face. Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was Saturday,
That's
and
that.
then on to
It
Sunday,
was.
on to the main event, on to so something else happened Saturday. We don't have to get into that necessarily, but again, it was a busy weekend in Pennsylvania. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday though, again, Pocono. I thought it was a fun race to watch. Pocono is. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. From a fan's perspective, it's tough to want to go back there because, again, I went there twice when I was a little kid, and as an adult, like, I know what I'm getting into as far as, like, sitting on the front stretch and not being able to see shit and, like, just in the sun all day. And in addition to that, there was a bit of a traffic nightmare this weekend where a bunch of people didn't even make it in for the race at all. I guess there was some sort of like massive storm that kind of rolled through in the morning, and I don't know if it took out roads or what the hell happened, but it balled up traffic for hours and hours.
I had heard there was an accident on the main drag. I don't know if that was related to the storm or not, but either way, something happens on the road, the rain comes in, everyone kind of holds off on going to the racetrack because they don't want to go if it's going to get rained out, whatever, and it's a perfect storm.
Well, it's funny because Dave Moody, everyone's favorite Twitter blowhard, he tweeted about the storm, and then immediately he made some like comment about like people getting delayed getting in the track, and then
that's a huge bummer, by the way.
yeah, but then everybody called him out like because he denied. I didn't know there was a storm happening. Like dickhead, literally the tweet before you made that joke, you fucking tweeted photos of rain and stuff. So like. Yeah. He is really awful, kind of like Corey Lajoie when he gets called out, just completely denying any responsibility.
Maybe he was asleep up in the turn 2 scissor lift or wherever he was calling the race from for MRN. Yeah, again, I do like Dave Moody. I think there's none better at calling a race than him.
Great at his job.
Excellent at his job. But yeah, that stuff is so shitty.
Yeah, awful on social media.
The rest of his life.
Yeah, just the worst. Beyond to the race itself, again,
Before the race even started, we had Lajoie hitting the wall during his qualifying lap. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Zane Smith makes it into the final round of 10 in qualifying, which really kicked things off well.
Yeah, Zane this is his 3rd weekend in a row doing pretty well. I mean, unfortunately, he got caught up in a wreck later in the race, but
he just decided he wants his job next year.
Yeah.
It seems like
both he and Carson were doing pretty well on Sunday. They were up in the top 20 most of the day. I forget where Carson finished, but he very clearly finished ahead of both.
He finished ahead of Corey, so that's all that matters.
I like Rob was actually listening to the first half of this race. Like I had stuff going on in the morning, and I was I decided to ride my bike for a little bit, and I knew I wasn't gonna miss much of Pocono, so I was just listening to it, and it didn't sound like I was missing much. Ty Gibbs went out and he led most of the first stage, and then Truex ended up winning the first stage, and I think was it Denny or Bowman, one of those two I think won stage 2 maybe. Hamlin, yeah. So
Bowman was up there, though. He definitely was in the mix
Bowman was
for a
doing
while.
really well.
He's also decided he wants a job, so
yeah.
He's on a hot streak. I think he finished 3rd, I want to say. So good for him. But I mean, the main event, this was a strategy race. It wasn't, there were a couple wrecks and stuff towards the end after the one we're going to get into now, but. After I forget which restart this was, but going into turn 1, everybody's all spread out and bunched up and pushing each other and whatnot, and apparently Kyle Busch blocked Corey Lajoie once. Now Corey says it was twice, but we all saw it was only once. Corey also said he had the 16 up his ass, which he didn't. He just decided he didn't want to lift doing 190 miles an hour into turn 1 and just drove right into Kyle Busch and took out 5 other cars with Kyle. And once again, proving that he does not belong in a race car or anywhere near a racetrack anywhere. Corey Lajoie has failed upward the last decade, I think, almost, that he's been in NASCAR.
Yeah, he's been in the Cup Series for 9 years.
Yes, and no top 5s, no top 10s outside of Cup tracks, or outside of plate tracks.
Yeah.
He has no business being in the Cup Series. He should be maybe in the trucks, if that. I can't understand how he is in the position that he's in. And his crew chief and his spotter didn't help his cause, saying that Kyle deserved it and this is our race, like fuck him, on the radio, which was played on TV for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
And then after the race, Corey just denied the whole thing, said it was Kyle's fault, said Kyle spun off his off his bumper, and
not that much
Kyle
is true.
blocked him. And, yeah, that is true, but how he did that is a different story.
Yeah, 2 lies and a truth. Yeah.
But then he admitted it. He said, "Well, I just dumped his ass or something, or I just wrecked his ass."
Yeah.
So he denied, and then he admitted it right at the end.
Yeah. And poor Kyle Busch is just so shell-shocked. Like, he had an awful weekend, didn't qualify well. Sunday morning, the car was, like, leaking oil or something, so they had to fix the car before the race even started.
Yeah,
and then this happens. So
his soul has left his body, like, officially.
Yeah, I'm convinced that, like, him and his wife must have bought some property recently that they're building on that is, like, an ancient
like
Indian
a burial
ground.
Yeah, that's a
it's
good
gotta
theory.
be.
That's a great theory.
Yeah, there's just too much curse.
And maybe they angered the wrong waitress down at a Cheddar's location, and she placed a hex on them. Something has to be made right here.
Yeah, but I mean, we've all seen plenty of
NASCAR's not going to do it. So.
No, definitely not. We've all seen so many fiery Kyle Busch interviews when stuff happens, and this was just like he had this just robot smile on his face, just not saying anything, just like, you know, giving no answers, and just he did give another interview that wasn't on TV where he said some guys don't know how to lift kamikazes or something, but
yeah,
that's about as emotional as he got about the whole thing. You know, if you're not a Kyle Busch fan, I get it. He's not everyone's cup of tea, even though he's a great driver. But
I think we're all a little concerned at this point, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I want to see him continue his win streak, but I also want to see him boot the goddamn ever-loving fuck out of Corey Lajoie either this weekend or sometime later in the season, because that dude has about a season's worth of wrecks coming to him from not just Kyle, just plenty of other people. Yeah. So, and again, thankfully, like I said, it seems like just about everyone in the NASCAR fandom is all on the same page here. Nobody was happy about that. Nobody was happy about the fact that NASCAR didn't do anything to penalize them. There were some conspiracy theories brought up on social media that,
which I love. I love those. Y'all keep shelling those out. So I love reading them.
Corey Lajoie he does Stacking Pennies is the official like NASCAR sponsored podcast, and I forget the Twitter user's name, but he brought up this list of different sponsors that NASCAR has more or less given to Corey through B2B partnerships with like other sponsors and TV deals, which I wouldn't say that's necessarily cause to say Corey's NASCAR's golden boy. I think it's more of a deal where getting those sponsorships on Spire was the way to get the sponsors on cars cheaply.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think a lot of it is definitely more of a Spire thing, and those guys are pretty business savvy, it seems. So I would assume that has something to do with it, but it doesn't help that Corey's the guy. So I think it's fair to assume that, he definitely gets a little bit of a break here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something feels fishy.
I just don't I don't know how I feel about the lack of a penalty on that. I really don't care, to be honest, all that much. Where's the line that you draw on that? And is this a box you really want to open up? Because he said it was sort of intentional, but he didn't say, I went out and flat out dumped him. He kind of kept it as vague as possible. But Denny did get penalized for running Ross up into the fence at Phoenix. But I guess the playoff implication was there as well. So, and there's certainly not one of those with Corey. So I don't know. Maybe that's the deciding factor. But yeah, I don't know if I want to see a penalty out of that or not. But one thing I will say, and I've said this on the
street justice.
Yes,
from other drivers.
Absolutely, yes, I'd like to see that. But I don't understand why NASCAR can't take and I've said this on the show before, why they can't take a cue from some short tracks where if you just cause a wreck, you go to the back of the field. That's it.
Yeah.
Back of the longest line.
Out for a minute.
Yeah.
Think
back of the longest line. I don't understand why that's not a thing you can do. It's real easy to do that.
It's not like they haven't done it before either. So
yeah.
And Junior brought up the point that that's something that has happened in the lower series even this season, I think, with he mentioned lane rigs.
The Trick Series did it, lane rigs.
But he also said, well, they do that in the lower series because those guys got to learn their lessons. When you're in Cup Series, you shouldn't have to learn those lessons. So it's, well, motherfucker, Corey Lajoie's not learned any lessons. Not one. Not fucking one. So, yeah, that's why he needs to get taken out of the car. And again, now he's going to have... Shut up, Cracker. You're pissed off the dog. The dog's upset now. He's going to have one of the best crew chiefs in the sport, and he's going to have two more than capable teammates that are going to show him up every weekend. So,
Well, we said it last week. It's definitely time to to show what you got. Like, you don't get a crew chief like
Well,
that.
he doesn't have anything. That's the issue here. You
Yeah,
can't
he has
show what
nothing.
you don't have.
Yeah, but this is like, what, going to be year 10 or whatever? So, like, if there was ever a time where it's like, all right, here's the line in the sand, I feel like this is very clearly it.
Yeah, definitely make it or break it. As someone who has been a very strong Corey Lajoie hater since 2018, I cannot tell you how satisfying it is for the rest of the universe to finally, welcome to my side. We can all join hands and sing a song about it. There's like Twitter accounts popping up specifically dedicated to hating Corey.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, watch him come back and win Atlanta, and everybody forgets about it.
Yeah, fuck.
Not us. Not me.
Not us. God damn it.
Listen, you know who else has won at plate tracks? Austin Dillon, Derek Cope, Trevor Bain. Where are those motherfuckers right now? Crack. Corey Lajoie sucks. I know.
Brien just got attacked by a dog. Last week it was our server. This week it's one of the random dogs that hangs out in the Applebee's around here. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I almost don't want to say his name on the show anymore. I feel like we've used up the amount we're allotted before we have to start paying NASCAR money. But
Yeah. Well, it was nice also this race hearing not just fans hate him, but we also had Pop pissed off at him.
Oh, man.
Dinger was pissed off at him.
Yeah. Kyle Busch is just emotionless. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, shocking to see him so austere. But,
Something's brewing in that man.
yeah, exactly. Get all the guns out of the house, I would say. And who? Oh yeah, Ryan Blaney won Pocono, by the way. That was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
everybody likes
good
that.
for him.
No
Everyone.
one gets mad at that.
Yeah, he's it's where he got his first win. He's always pretty good there. So I think everyone can be pleased that the 12 won again. So, and I think that definitely sets him up to be one of the favorites for Indianapolis as well. So that track is pretty similar, I guess.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah. Well, one of the turns at Pocono is based off of Indy, but
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Speaking of Blaney, Rob, you learned some new information about Ryan Blaney.
well, True Love actually sent this
Oh, I
along
did.
to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's True Love.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, he apparently was a new metal guy back in the day.
Yeah, he did that account or whatever, Whiskey Riff, has a new podcast, which I would never listen to normally, but Blaney and Chase both did an episode. So I listened to Blaney's, and they were talking about music. And I've always known that Blaney's a metal guy, but I only knew about the, like, super, like, death metal, screamy shit that he loves that I don't know those people. But in this episode of the podcast, he revealed that he is a big Slipknot fan and a big Korn fan.
Fuck yeah.
And then he revealed that Dave Blaney is a big fan of Pink, the singer.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sure Dave was excited for that to get out in the world.
yeah, I was gonna say we've got Mark Martin declaring his love of Gucci Mane that everybody knows. I don't think Pink's is gonna be as excited.
No.
Not the same street cred.
Yeah, but Dave Blaney still rips, so there's.
Yeah.
That is true.
We'll forgive that one.
Yep. So
What else happened in NASCAR? Oh yeah, Bubba got a penalty. That got announced right after we finished the episode, so I don't think we discussed that. Speaking of
Yeah.
penalties, I don't care that they penalized them. Again, you're seeing a theme emerge for me. I just don't care about whether or not, but $50,000 is a lot, man.
It was a lot.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of fucking money. Definitely about as extreme as it gets without getting into points or suspensions or anything like that. And I don't know. I didn't think it was that egregious. And I guess my question is, why are guys fucking unbuckling anyway? Until they get back to the pits.
So Junior made a whole goddamn rant about this today on his
very
podcast.
upset about it.
He's like, nobody unbuckles. Like, nobody does that until you actually time to get out of the car. Nobody does that. So
The
thought that
only
was
time I can
interesting.
think of in recent history where it was an issue was when Brad Keselowski slammed into Matt Kenseth on pit road at Texas. Was it Texas where that big fight broke out?
oh
And Kenseth went and hunted him down. This was a few years ago. But yeah, it was on pit road, and then Tony Stewart like backed into him or something. It was awesome. But
Pit road penalties have always been
yeah,
black and white.
but I don't think like they make it out like Bowman's. He's got his gloves off as he crosses the line, and he's already got the belts undone and shit. I don't think anybody does that, and if they do, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, especially someone like Bowman who has a history of concussion.
Yeah, yeah. And a back that's not totally healed as well. So
Yeah.
Well, I think it's healed now, Rob. He's fine. Let's give him that credit.
yeah, but still, it just seems
Yeah,
extreme.
I was pretty pissed off about that last week, and I'm still pretty annoyed, especially. I don't know.
Well,
Just since because they haven't penalized anyone for that since 2009, so it's like, okay.
Well, and on the flip
You
side,
did the same thing for 15 years.
and on the flip side of that, like that one was in anger, so I understand why, like visually, there's a reason to maybe try and step in and make a point, but guys will do that to say what's up to their friends. Now, Bubba definitely wasn't saying hi. It was more of a fuck you, but you see that shit all the time. So, like, again, it's kind of like, where's the line with these situations,
And then to hear it kind of come out that it sounds like social media kind of influenced
Yeah,
NASCAR
I do not like that one fucking bit.
That really pisses me off.
Yeah, I
And
fucking
then
hate that.
they're like, "Oh, Corey, we're just gonna talk to Corey and see if he's in a good place." Like,
Well,
what? What does that mean?
Check on Kyle. Is Kyle Busch in a good place right now?
Yeah,
Jesus.
we're checking on the wrong people.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Brien, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I hate all of it. I just hate every bit of it. I don't think Elton Sawyer's good at his job either. I don't know. I just think it all sucks. I thought it was interesting how Bubba reacted to it, I guess. And he had finished in 10th, so, it seems like he's passed it already, which is good for him. But, what else is he going to fucking do? I don't think him having a pissy attitude about it would help. And it seems
What are they
like
gonna do? Fight him again?
Well, it seems like he's noticed himself that he has attitude issues at times, and it seems to be something he wants to work on, and I think all the fucking racist morons that hate Bubba and always want an excuse to shit on him, this is a good one for them to use. So
Yeah, well, it's certainly it's appropriate for once.
yeah.
Seems like I guess Harvick had a nice pep talk with him, and Harvick also has his own history of dealing with NASCAR and penalties and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
pissing off the fan base. So
Yeah, he had his own seat saved in the hauler, I'm pretty sure. Little folding chair with his name on it. So
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully, Bubba's season just continues to turn back around, and I'd like to see him make the playoffs or get a win somewhere. So
yeah.
I don't know. Just move past it, I guess, and let's just continue hating on Corey Lajoie.
There you go.
That's way
Yeah.
more fun.
Well, speaking of places Corey might be able to get a ride once the Cup deal falls through, one of them that he won't be able to get a ride at is JD Motorsports. At least one of their cars is going away. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is really sad. You hate to see that. JD is, Johnny Davis has brought a lot of guys through, most notably Ross Chastain and Ryan Preece. They definitely did some things in those cars that a lot of people wouldn't be able to do, even if it was just top 15s, top 10s once in a while, that sort of thing. Like, they definitely gave those guys sort of a window into the Cup Series and all that. So it'll be sad to see them lose a car. But boy, what a what a shitty few weeks for those guys.
It's really gone downhill quick since.
A lot of awkward talks happening right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a damn shame. I hate to see that. Again, and they've had a lot of sort of squirrels in the car too, but there's been a lot of talent in there as well. So sad to see one of those rides go away. So that's one more off the old chalkboard for Mr. Corey.
Haley Deegan's seat's still open.
Yeah, but she did find a ride. She's going to Lime Rock this weekend, and she's going to be hanging out with Ken Schrader at the big Trans Am. Actually, I forget exactly what race she's running in there.
It's the team It's the Speed Tour All-Star Race at Lime Rock Park.
Yeah,
So
it's like there's
apparently
Trans
she's
Am
an
is
all-star.
there, and it's also the big IROC weekend as well down at Lime
Yep.
Rock. So that'll be a cool event. I was thinking about going to that, but I'm going to Monadnock instead. But I think Trans Am would be a nice place for her to land.
I still think she belongs in monster trucks. Don't have
yeah,
to worry about wrecking shit there.
That's true. Well, you
In fact,
say
it's
that.
encouraged.
But yeah, that's going to be a cool event at Lime Rock coming up here. So if anyone in the Northeast is within a few hours drive, I would say that'd be worth the trip if you don't already have plans to go to Monadnock or somewhere else, because Lime Rock rules, and seeing all those old IROC cars out there as well will be a treat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the footage that comes out of that this weekend.
Speaking of rides, BJ McLeod running the double at Indy. That's pretty cool.
Yep, hell yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen him in a minute.
No, we
I
haven't.
miss him.
He's been too busy spending his money on ball chain necklaces. Gonna see how heavy that load is on his neck when he rolls up to Indianapolis this weekend.
What else? There was some NASCAR news today from high up. Nepotism continues to work in the head offices, because Ben Kennedy just got promoted to executive vice president of NASCAR at 32 years old. So
That's not much of a
great.
surprise.
That's. I don't think anybody was surprised by that. But what I think is actually a good thing. NASCAR announced that they were going to be allowing teams to install a lifter system to help with flat tires. It'll basically raise the car off the ground a little bit when they get flats. So that is the most. So it's the most embarrassing thing on the new car. The second most embarrassing thing being the toe length.
Yeah. Surely no one's gonna learn how to cheat with that. No one's gonna use a ride height adjustment. Not a chance,
Yeah.
I look forward to the L15 penalty that comes out of whoever decides to do this first. But
When's the first race that they're using it?
I didn't see that, but yeah, that is an interesting idea. Again, I don't understand why they just don't teach the tow truck drivers how to double hook them, but I guess if you get stuck on the grass or the apron or whatever, you want to keep rolling. But definitely a big safety thing. I mean, guys just flooring it and trying to keep the car moving after a yellow is definitely not the safest line of fit. Especially if there's guys that are hurt out there or safety vehicles trying to dispatch, and you got somebody just burning a hole in the grass trying to keep the car moving. So maybe this will put a stop to some of that. But yeah, someone's definitely going to cheat with that shit. Rodney Shoulders is already figuring out.
He's planning ahead for next year. So I got to figure out how to get Corey a win somehow.
Exactly. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
What did I just miss?
We're still talking about the whatever the fuck it is. I was gonna say
The
air jack.
doohickey.
The doohickey.
Oh, the doohickey.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see if NASCAR fucks that up as far as when being in control of it. But I think it's good that they're putting that in, because that is such an awful part of that new car. So
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of awful things, you see that fucking wreck at Iowa? Stingray Rob flipping like 36 times, and apparently he
was
pulled
intense.
109 G's.
I read that and my brain could not compute.
Yeah. If I sit down too
That
fast,
number.
my brain gets scared, so I can't imagine how that scrambled old Stingray there. Apparently, both of those races were pretty boring as well.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The repave did not suit Indy cars all that well. Kind of exactly what people thought was going to happen with NASCAR, but didn't actually happen with IndyCar. And yeah, just not a good deal. Hopefully they actually get that whole thing repaved before everybody comes back through. And I think that's the plan, but I'm not 100% on that.
Well, now also with IndyCar, I saw that people are starting to bitch about the hybrid engines, and they're too heavy and it's hurting the racing. So I wonder how they'll get that sorted out.
Yeah, Ed Carpenter went on a big rant about it and how it doesn't really affect the racing all that much, but it certainly doesn't help it, and it's like twice as expensive. So it's just kind of an untenable advance. And, you know, what's the point of trying to invite other manufacturers in if you don't have competitors that can afford to do it? So, you know, classic age-old racing shit. I can't say I disagree with Ed, but at the same time, you know, I always think it's weird when they do technology upgrades like that mid-season.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
But, yeah, Iowa was kind of a mess for IndyCar, which is a damn shame. But...
And they were blaming NASCAR, too.
Which is hilarious. Yeah, classic IndyCar fans versus NASCAR fans there. But no, that was just the track not being able to get someone in to pave the track before the winter hit. So, what? But hey, at least it worked for NASCAR, right? It could have been
We had fun.
3 to 6 shitty races instead of just 2 of them. So.
Yep. And then what's the final little bit here?
Let's see here.
the Taylor
Oh
Gray
yeah, the
tweet.
Daily Downforce tweeted about Taylor Gray and his prospects of moving up into NASCAR. And the way they worded this headline, or at least the tweet anyway, was kind of suspect. It was, how much longer until Taylor Gray humps up to the Cup Series, if at all?
I mean, clearly a typo, but you could have just deleted that and reposted it. Like
Clearly a typo that lets us know that Michael Waltrip is working for the Daily Downforce.
By Michael Waltrip. Not a good headline, but
no, not at all.
But how long until he does hump up to the Cup Series? What do y'all think?
I mean, Taylor Gray is not the person I'm thinking of when I
No, absolutely not. Corey
other
Haim.
prospects. Yeah.
Corey Haim has already humped his way into the Cup Series.
He's first in the hump lineup.
He cranked and fucked and sucked his way all the way up there, and did pretty well in that filling in for Eric Jones too. So I don't know, like Taylor and Tanner in particular, or Taylor, whatever the fuck their names are.
I don't know the difference.
Taylor Gray, he's been really impressive. You know, like both of them have actually done a pretty good job, but you know, Taylor in particular, but I just don't know where they go. You know, like they're not quite in that A tier of truck drivers, if there is such a thing, you know. So, and there's just not a lot of seats available, especially with a lot of people in Cup maybe getting jettisoned downward. And I don't know. I don't know where they really go. So I like them both. They're both New Mexicans from Artesia, so I fuck with that. And I low-key pull for the Gray brothers for that reason exclusively. There's not many New Mexicans that race, so I kind of have to by default. But yeah, I don't really know where they would go other than where they're at right now.
Yeah. Mikey wants them there.
Mikey,
He calls those races.
I want y'all to stay in the Truck Series. I'm working on my Mikey impersonation. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good start.
Taylor Gray.
All right. Well, I feel like we should let the Chase Elliott fan cover the Darf of the week here because it's one of your people here.
Did you have a chance? Yeah, come collect your people.
Look, I feel like since Rob was tagged in this.
Yeah. So, friend of the program and professional Darf hunter Kyle Armstrong sent this to me this afternoon. I was pretty amazed that I didn't have a Darf of the Week picked out until about 3 or 4 hours ago, but he tagged me in this Facebook post from a Facebook group called Chase Elliott 9 Nation, so they've clearly run out of names over there.
Yeah.
And the photo is of Bill and his wife and a young Chase Elliott, probably about 4 or 5 years old, sitting in his lap at looks like Indianapolis, I would say, judging by the background there, getting introduced. And the caption says, 1988 NASCAR Cup Series champion Bill Elliott, which is correct. That did happen.
Yep.
And there's actually a couple of comments here I want to outline. I didn't even notice the bottom one. This was Truelove who brought this to my attention.
It's my personal favorite.
Yeah, our Darf of the Week.
Start with Jesse.
Yeah, there's a man named Jesse, and he comments, if that is 88, and again, this is very clearly like 2000s era Dodge, Evernham, Bill Elliott. Like, there's no question about that.
It's like 2001, 2002,
And
somewhere in there.
Jesse chimes in with, if that is 88 and Chase looks about 4 years old equals born in 84, then Chase would be about 40 years old now. So this pick is more like 1994.
Matt's still a bit off, bud. Just a little bit.
And of course, Kyle tagged me in the comments so I would see this. And then right below that, another little bonus Darf here from a woman named Tammy. She says, yeah.
Sweet Tammy.
Sweet Tammy chimes in with, yeah, and 12 years later, that handsome young man got his how special is that? What the fuck?
Oh, man.
So for both of our Darf of the Week winners this week, I'm going to buy them a calendar from Dollar General. That's we're going to learn how time works. Yeah, True Love, you're going to start using Hampsome, Hamsome, in your vocabulary. Yeah.
Yep. I know my boyfriend's listening to this, and he will be referred to as Hampson.
A handsome man.
He is so handsome.
So yeah, a little bit of a lighter Darf of the Week this week. Although I'm sure I could have found something a lot more ridiculous than that. But thank you, Kyle. Again, he just texted me just now. We're both watching Eldora right now, and I know both of us are really excited to get out to the World 100 coming up here in September. It's going to be a great time. And if for all our friends out at Eldora right now, Josh Davis being one of them, I hope you're having a good time out there watching the show at the Big E, and I hope you eat your weight in fried cheese balls, bud. And I think this is as good a time as any, since we're talking about, to just climb right on into the old septic tank. What do you say, guys?
Let's get on in there, because I'm excited to talk about one of these stories.
Yeah. So I do want to bring this up real quick. This obviously isn't a political show or anything like that, and I don't want to get into this too much, but the guy who actually did get killed when that kid tried to kill Donald Trump, he was a local firefighter in Pennsylvania, and everyone's heard his story and all that on the news and whatever. And but what a lot of people haven't realized or heard about, because why would they, is that he was a volunteer firefighter that worked on the safety team at Lernerville Speedway, and even went as far as collecting money for the 50-50 and was very active in that community. So again, I'm going to put politics and opinions and all that bullshit aside and just recognize this guy real quick. The racing family is a small one, and it sucks to lose people, especially in such a terrible fashion. So our thoughts with his family and the entire Lernerville team. That's got to suck.
Yeah, I mean, that's about all I'll say, because some other stuff came out about that guy and his wife that you can find it out for yourself.
I haven't heard that much, but he did have a connection to Lernerville, and I know there's a lot of people hurting around there, so that sucks. But anyway,
well, yeah. Go
I
ahead,
do want
Ashley.
to give a little shout out to on Instagram. We got a message from Sparse Existence, who pointed out to us the guy at the assassination wearing a noggin boss in the crowd.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Made my whole day.
Yeah. Was it a William Byron hat?
Yeah, no telling what he's hiding in that thing.
Yeah. Once we get through the septic tank here, I'm going to look that up. Maybe we'll delete my little eulogy here. But again, we're thinking about all the folks at Lernerville. It sucks to lose anybody in the community. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move it on to the actual septic tank here. Speaking of racetracks, White Speedway took some notes from Weber Valley and tried to play a goof on all of their fans by using some of the same language that Weber Valley does. Of course, we talk about Weber Valley a lot on here. A lot of our Darf of the Week candidates come from the Weber Valley comments section who don't realize that's not a real place. Wythe is a real place, and they decided to post over the weekend a photo of the bathrooms and of the concession stand saying, "The women in the pits are using too much toilet paper and stopping the system up. From now on, we will be selling toilet paper at the confession stand." That's your first clue this is a joke. 10 cents per foot. Thank you. Heather, social media coordinator.
So you're telling me it's a joke? I didn't realize it was a joke. Oh, that's
and Weber Valley chimed in, and it was the whole thing. It was fucking hilarious. And then, but yeah. But yeah, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people did not catch the joke, and basically blame them for why short track racing is going down the tubes and all that. But yeah, it's a joke. Anyway, on the racing front, the whole world was, of course, been focused on all the late model drama right now with the ride swap between Hudson O'Neal and Ricky Thornton Jr. Of course, last week when we were talking about this, we didn't know where Ricky was going. We knew Hudson was taking over the SSI ride, which Ricky got unceremoniously fired from all I can tell. Fortunately, the Kohler guys came in and picked up Ricky, and the past few races have been absolute fucking barn burners between the two of them. Hudson O'Neal has won 2 in a row in the SSI car, which I think is expected of him at this point. He's a talented guy, and that car is fucking fast. It's pretty much, it is the exact same crew that was working on it when RTJ was winning everything and lining the wall with checks over there. So there's no excuse for him to not do well. And Kohler's not a shitty team by any means, but they're certainly not as fast as SSI is, and Ricky's been putting that thing up there and battling pretty handily with them. So he hasn't won just yet, but the past 2 races have been Hudson and Ricky finishing 1-2. So if you have Flow Racing, make sure you're tuning into Husitz this weekend. It's going to be fucking awesome. We're going to see those guys banging each other a little bit more. Also, Garrett Alberson from New Mexico, another great New Mexican, having some nice runs as well. But yeah, just excellent fucking racing happening in the Lucas Oil world. I can't recommend it enough. Over on the World of Outlaws late model side, Bobby Pierce has won just fucking everything possible. He's definitely figured out how to dope his tires again or whatever is making him go fast. I think he's won the last 4 races that they've run, and definitely the last 2 at Bedford and Sharon. So good for Bobby. He's definitely coming for that championship spot. He's only about 70 points off from Nick Hoffman and Brandon Shepard right now, so that's going to be another exciting battle. Over on the sprint car side, Carson Macedo and Donnie Schatz picked up wins at the Badger 40. Of course, Donnie getting the big win there in the feature. So good to see him get some speed back. Then David Gravel won the Brad Doty Classic last night. That was a good show. Kyle Larson, Corey Day, and a bunch of dudes up front really putting on a show, but nobody really had anything for David all night. Of course, again, friend of the program, Josh Davis was there. And he had a good time, so that's to be expected, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't go. Sorry, folks. I was having a day, and I was just it wasn't gonna happen for me. So
it's a damn shame because Attica's a fucking wicked track, man.
Yeah, I love Attica. I mean, it's nothing against Attica. Somebody just wrecked real bad on
yeah.
Eldora.
Who is that? We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it on the show next week, I guess. Yeah. Speaking of Eldora, there was a lot of folks at the World of Outlaws show last night, kind of on their way to Eldora. Of course, it's King's Royal Week. Also, High Limit having their own show there called the Joker's Jackpot, which is it's just so funny. Such a funny name for a race. But yeah, the King's Royal and Joker's Jackpot, both happening from now until Saturday. The World of Outlaws portion of the show picking up on Friday night, I believe. And that's going to be awesome. The Lucas Oil Late Models over at Silver Dollar Nationals at Husitz. That's 3 nights coming up here. That's going to be fucking awesome. The Modified Masters show over at Stafford. Let's move over to the pavement world here real quick. That was supposed to be as we're recording this show, but unfortunately the weather here is dog shit as usual, so they moved it to next week, so I'll actually get to go. That's exciting news. So the next modified race up here is this Saturday at Monadnock. The NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour going to be coming through, and we'll get to see Justin Bosignor and Ron Silk continue their titanic battle for the championship. And the other big asphalt deal this weekend is the Hampton Heat 200 at Langley Speedway in Virginia. Was it Larry Lawler's Langley Speedway is what it's called? That's such a fucking tongue twister. But Dale Jr. is going to be on the property, as well as a lot of the sort of central southeast Cars Tour guys.
Don't forget Isma's running at Oswego, which I will actually be there 100%.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going, so I'll be there only Friday. Saturday I got shit going on, but I'll be there Friday night. So.
But that's always cool to see super modifieds running in anger. But yeah, a big jam-packed weekend of racing. I'll be tuning into Eldora all weekend. I think ARCA's at IRP. Is that right?
That sounds right.
And is the Truck Series there too at IRP?
Yeah.
I think so.
That'll be cool. And of course, NASCAR's going to the Brickyard again, which is awesome. But that's not short track racing. No. But yeah, I'll be locked in all weekend on Dirt Vision to watch the King's Royal and on Flow for the Joker's Jackpot, which is currently in progress. Jesus Christ, that car got fucked up. But but he's out of the car, whoever that is. Yeah. But anyway, that's the short track septic tank this week. Like I said, tons of good racing this weekend. I talked about Eldora, but again, the Lucas Oil stuff. Do yourself a favor and watch that shit. It's a good show right now. It's probably the best racing I've seen all year. So we'll go ahead and flush it on down before we crank up the the anger in the room here with our video of the week segment.
I was gonna say on to some video.
Can we just videos. Flush the video segment too?
Yeah, onto some videos that if you haven't watched, you don't need
Double
to.
flush.
So yeah, I gotta apologize. for just this.
Thank you.
This whole weekend or this whole week's video segment, because start to finish they're both awful. We'll start off with the hot topic of the week, though. Corey Lajoie taking infamous wrestler AJ Styles out for a spin around the Charlotte Roval, or did he? Because we'll get into that. So this video, so there were a couple different videos. NBC and WWE have a relationship, like their shit's on Peacock, and I think one of the shows is on, I don't know if it's SmackDown or whatever. I don't watch WWE anymore, so I have no idea where that stuff airs. But they've done some promotional deals, and Corey had a SummerSlam car for one of the races. So there were a couple different video segments where Corey and AJ hang out, and this one that I picked was supposedly Corey taking AJ for a ride around the Charlotte Roval, but we'll get into it. So it's a pretty boring video, really. I mean, it's only 10 minutes long. Corey's explaining the track to AJ and talking about how it's different than other road courses, and it incorporates the bank turns and all this other shit. And AJ is like scared of the turns, which, the guy fucking pretends to hurt himself every night. Shouldn't be worried about driving on a track.
I will say that I gave AJ shit last week when I just Googled what he looked like. But in this video, as soon as he opened his mouth and I heard his country twang, I immediately loved him. I was like, okay.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of insight on AJ. Again, he is definitely one of the best wrestlers of the last 20 years. Like, he is very, very, very good, like, as far as his actual in-ring ability is concerned. However, he is a weird, very, very Christian dad with like 6 kids, and he's very into video games. And also, if you go back and watch some of his old stuff from the TNA days, he might have been dropping some slurs here and there. So there's an infamous clip where there's an infamous clip where he is
the second guy you've called out on this show for the exact same thing, it looks like.
There's an infamous clip where he was interviewed on a radio show a few years ago, and somebody calls in and asks how he feels about having so many fans in the gay community, and his response was just, the gay community, and that became a meme within wrestling. So that tells you a little bit about what AJ is. So before we dive further into this video, though, so who do we think had the better hair here, AJ or Corey?
Okay. I have notes about this fucking hair.
Okay, well,
not AJ's. This
let her rip, Tater Chip.
I don't know what year this was, but it was during this era where Corey Lajoie went through this phase where he was obsessed with his hair, and he wanted to be Ryan Blaney so bad, but his hair looks fucking terrible. It's big and thick and doesn't fit under his hat, and it's
hey,
that whole
go easy.
Well, it was just the worst. That whole era where he was trying to be Ryan Blaney's hair double was just, it pissed me off every time I saw his stupid head. So to have to take a trip down that memory lane annoyed me all over again. Anyway.
Okay. I personally am more annoyed by Corey's beard and lips combo. They're just very off-putting to me. Huh. I don't like anything about it. So
how about that? I'm feeling personally attacked on this show at this moment.
Hey,
I mean, did you see his hair in the video, Rob? It doesn't look anything like it.
I know. I'm just.
Yeah. So from here, they kind of briefly ask each other how each one of them got into their respective positions, and Corey Lajoie came out with the understatement of the century, saying, "Got lucky, got some breaks." You sure did, touch hole. You sure fucking did. And then AJ, as Corey explained who his dad was, AJ says, "Sounds like you learned from the best." I mean, he was the best in one division for a couple years, but that was about it.
Randy was good. Yeah.
A division that Corey never even tried.
Yeah, division that Corey never drove in, never won a single race in, never did shit in. There's one little wrestling nerd fan note of mine. They talk about how AJ got into wrestling, and he basically just followed some friends in high school into it, and he chooses not to use the word bump, which is what the term that everybody in wrestling knows. Like, that's when you hit the mat, it's called a bump. Like when you get hit, whatever, it's called a bump. And AJ chooses to use the word fall, trying to protect kayfabe here, which is very silly because it's 2022 or 3 whenever this is filmed. Everybody knows what a fucking bump is. And as I mentioned, both are good Christian men who have dropped slurs in their past. And here's the twist. Here's the plot twist, though, because this video is titled "Corey Lajoie shows AJ around Charlotte," but guess who takes AJ Styles out on the track? None other than Jeff fucking Burton. Why couldn't Corey do that?
Well, the NBC car is Jeff's. Make no mistake.
It's his daily driver that he takes home.
Sometimes he'll let Dale borrow it, but
only Jeff's allowed to drive it, apparently. Yeah. So that's pretty much the highlight of this video is Corey Lajoie not even getting in the fucking car.
That was funny, yeah.
And AJ had a good time. He didn't know there was no speedometer in the car, so he was very confused and amazed by that. And then he takes his role as the guest race director, I think is what they called him for this deal. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't even know why I picked this. I didn't think any of us anticipated what was going to happen this weekend with Corey. I thought this would be a nice little test of let's find something somewhat interesting to talk about and maybe puts Corey in a good light. But nope.
Appropriate, yeah. I actually really did enjoy the little bit where they were talking about the sort of the parallels between their professional lives, not being at home and all that a lot for the sake of their careers. And I thought that was cool. I always love to see the sort of intersectionality of different lines of work and how everyone kind of experiences the same thing, being away from family, whatever. So, and that's honestly something that there are parallels that I see from my own sort of failed music career that I have kind of taken to heart with the racing world as well. It's a lot of travel, it's a lot of being away from home, it's a lot of weird sacrifice and being in gas stations at 2 a.m, which definitely their stories are a little different, but it's always cool to hear those kind of compare and contrast conversations, and I always enjoy them.
A brief aside, I just want to say this real quick. I got Eldora on myself, and they're using ice cream as the choose cone in this heat, which is interesting. Okay. Anyways,
Frozen
Ashley,
Farmers Pick Pint. It's better than that big piece of fucking steel they had out there at Caraway for the modified race that got absolutely destroyed.
Jesus Christ.
But anyway, yeah. What'd you think, True Love? Did you enjoy this video?
I think I've made my thoughts on LaJoie pretty clear.
Yeah.
There was one line that I did like where I guess AJ. He rode in the pace car at the start of the race, and he looks to Corey and he says, "Okay, make sure you stay close behind me when I'm in the pace car." And Corey kind of makes a face like he knows, I'm not going to be
anywhere near you, bud. Yeah. Put AJ in the second pace car.
Yeah. There was actually a part 2 to this where Corey goes to the wrestling world.
Yeah, which I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm sure it's awful.
I watched it. You didn't miss anything. The only thing from that one that pissed me off was Corey said a ride in the NASCAR. He called it the NASCAR instead of
what the fuck, man? That is a cardinal fucking sin. You don't call you're a goddamn NASCAR driver. You should not be saying that.
Yeah.
The NASCAR.
Mm-hmm. Corey Lajoie, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's really Jeff Burton's NASCAR that he took a ride in.
All right. Well, so I'll just say this. Again, I already apologized for these picks this week, and I will say that I regret.
Yeah, fuck you, bud.
He's just gonna quit.
That was the Cleveland police coming to pick him up for hanging out on children's YouTube. Because we can't even add this to the fucking playlist because it's a YouTube Kids video.
Lucky for y'all.
Yeah. God, yeah. I'm going to let him explain this one.
Yeah,
I'm going to wait till he comes back here.
If he comes back.
If he comes back, yeah. God damn.
That was my.
Yeah. Oh, it's your fault, bud.
Yeah. It's, okay. So.
Definitely your fault.
All right. So, Blippi. Okay. First off, I just want to say I feel bad for Austin Cindric for ever being compared to this fucking guy just because he wears a bow tie on TV.
He does look
once in a
like him,
while.
though.
I mean, a little bit, but not much. I mean,
slap an orange beanie on his head. That's the only difference.
It was like a weird Mario Luigi mushroom hat that man was wearing.
I hate that fucking hat. I hate everything
hate
about
it.
this guy. It's all awful. So, I'm not going to go through everything that happens in this fucking
Thank you.
video because it's again, it's very much a child's video. I'm going to compliment it in this sense that I guess it's interesting that I can't, when I was a kid, I can't imagine anything like this ever happening for NASCAR or any race cars at all. So I guess in that sense, it's neat that little kids can be introduced to IndyCar this way. So that I'll give him a compliment for.
It's definitely Andretti, the Andretti team being very smart with their marketing because they definitely had a hand in getting this to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this, again, not that I really know shit about Blippi, but I mean, it's very clearly a huge YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So
This video had 5.8 million views.
That's more than any IndyCar race this year besides the 500.
yeah, really, that's So, really, this video, I mean, to break it down, it's Blippi kind of bopping around the fucking track and squeaking and talking in his dumb voice and basically, like, pointing out every little thing. Like, he's pointing out the lines on the track and the pit stalls and this, that, and the other thing. So, again, in that sense, it's educational and, you
learned a lot.
Hopefully some little kids enjoyed this and wanted to watch a race. So I'll credit them in that sense, but a lot of it is just like really basic math and like
colors,
colors and spelling and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
Alexander Ross.
He makes James Hinchcliffe and Alexander Rossi spell his name. That's on the side pod, but that's part of the sponsorship deal, boys. You got to be a spokesman, so sometimes you got to say Blippi on television.
I feel like Hinchcliffe tried to get into it and talk like he was talking to children, but Rossi was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I won this goddamn race. Why am I here?
That's Alex Rossi in a nutshell, though, right there.
Yeah. At one point they're talking about the economics of the tires. Like, why do little kids need to know how much a tire costs? That's pretty ridiculous. Again, there's like talking about primary colors. Alexander Rossi's saying the steering wheel is like a video game controller. Blippi goes, my car doesn't have that, and just the concept of Blippi driving is very frightening to me.
Horrifying.
Like the character of Blippi, I don't want him behind the wheel.
Way too erratic.
Speaking of windscreens that we mentioned earlier in the show, they at one point they're comparing a windscreen to a windshield, and dumbass fucking Blippi asks if you have to wear a helmet. Of course you gotta wear a helmet, you fucking moron. Let's see. Then
you did this to yourself, Brien. By the way, I just want to remind the listeners that this was your choice.
I know, it's my fault. Then like the crew is showing him how to change a tire, and then Blippi does it. They're explaining G-forces, which I mean, Christ, a 2-year-old's not gonna know what G-forces are. You don't need to explain that.
I barely know what a fucking G-force.
Yeah.
Stinger Rob knows what G-forces are, though.
He definitely knows that. I will say the only thing that I actually did learn from this video is I guess I never knew the origin of the milk thing, and they explained that, how I guess Louis Meyer, whatever the hell that was, I don't know when, like the 30s, I guess, he wanted buttermilk when getting out of the car, which is an insane request. Who the fuck wants... Anyways, so that's how the milk thing started.
Sponsor thing, yeah.
Yeah. And then afterwards, after like the victory lane talk and all that shit, they get Sarah Fisher there with the ride-along car, and it's good to have a woman in there too. I think it's good to show little kids that women are involved in racing too. So I think that was smart.
Sarah Fisher's a dog too. She rules.
Yeah, she's been around a while. Yeah, that was cool. And she takes Blippi for a ride, and I was actually a little bit disappointed that there was no like in-car footage or commentary, because I definitely was expecting to hear Blippi screaming in the car.
His street voice probably came out.
Probably.
I had to cut that footage.
Yeah.
He sounded.
Fuck. I would love to hear Blippi. I'm gonna roll
I
that.
kept calling him Blippi, so
I'd love to hear Blippi cuss. That'd be great.
Well, you can see Blippi do some other stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, after the ride along, then he kind of just dances in the stands like a fucking kook for a while, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah, that was Blippi. I'm sorry, folks. And like I said, don't go watch it if you haven't. I will say that because I didn't know anything about Blippi before watching this video, I did just a tiny bit of Googling, and apparently there are 2 Blippis.
This is the best part of the whole thing, folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the second Blippi that's in this video. Now, Ashley, you were a bit incorrect here, because the first Blippi isn't canceled. Like, he's still involved and still does stuff, I guess. Like, he's still part of the Blippi universe.
Like a Gallagher 2 type situation.
Yeah, but the first Blippi had a history prior to getting involved in the Blippi world, and he at one point made he was like a shock YouTuber or whatever. He made a bunch of weird videos and
out videos.
Yeah, he did a video where he got naked and diarrheaed into another guy's ass. So that's what Blippi was up to before he was hanging out with your kids.
That's what Blippi is. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
well, as I was watching the video, I was like, man, this guy is so weird. The guy in the video, I was like, there's got to be like a Jared Subway guy story about him.
Yep.
That's gonna come out someday. So that's when I Googled the origin story of Blippi and found out about the other.
You Googled Blippi
original
first.
Blippi. I was like, oh, Subway sandwiches, yeah.
but not toasted and bad. Yeah.
But I have never been more pissed off at you before in my life, Brien. As the second that video started and he started talking to me like I was a child, I got viscerally angry at you.
I turned it off after 2 minutes. I was like, there's no fucking way I'm watching this. And I had not seen this video. I just shut it off. So
I will say this is the video I've paid the least close attention to out of all the videos, because I take pretty good notes with everything we watch. And this one, no, I couldn't do it. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, this
definitely did that for me. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't imagine having to be subjected to this shit.
Yeah, my best friend has a daughter who's 2, and I asked her if she watches Blippi, and she said that she does a little bit. She's not super into it, but she said there's a video that Blippi did with it's a NASCAR video with, I think she said, Logano and Reddick.
Oh, why the fuck didn't I watch that? Oh, God damn it. Oh, that sucks.
Cool, we got a new video of the week, guys. That's fucking great. Sometimes the furniture arranges itself. So,
Well, I will say that I almost picked, because after Pocono, so the Grizzlies, which apparently you're both fans of, didn't know that till
Chrisley knows best.
Chrisley,
Grizzly Knows Best came on after the Pocono race, and it was the episode where the Grizzlies go to Nashville for the NASCAR race, and Todd wouldn't lead the bus the whole fucking time. So
Yeah, it sounds like Todd Chrisley.
it's not. I was gonna punish you with that one, but apparently you'd be enjoying it, so it's not really punishment there.
Yeah, give us something once in a while, you know.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, so that brings us to the new video of the week segment, and this is a 2-parter because we got 2 videos. Like I mentioned, I'm going to Oswego this weekend, and we're going to be doing an interview on the show this week. Actually, we've had guests, but this is like the first actual interview I think we've done with my friend Stacy. So Stacy grew up going to Oswego because her dad was Steve Goya or Joya, excuse me. I had this conversation with her before the show started about I don't know how to pronounce her last name, and I just fucked it up again. So her dad was Steve Joya. He was a longtime super modified racer, and the Joya family owned Oswego Speedway for many, many, many years. They only just recently sold it, but they're all still involved in the track, and I thought it'd be interesting to have her on the show and kind of talk about her experience growing up in a racing family.
Very cool.
Because I'm going to be seeing her on Friday. So the two videos of the week this week, there's a brief interview with her dad from a couple of years ago talking about his racing history. And then she also sent me a video of a race from '85 where he ended up coming from a lap down to win the race. So two good videos, and we'll have a guest this week. So hopefully it redeems, this will redeem my actions from this week. So that'll be next week's show for you folks.
Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, I don't know much about super modifieds. I've seen some races. Oswego's definitely on the short list of places I need to go, and I'm very excited to hear about this. So,
yeah.
I'm excited to have another female on the show to deal with you two.
Thank you for your patience, true love.
You know, she grew up at the track, so she's used to dealing with dickhead guys. So it's fine. I'm sure she'll be fine. So yeah, those are the videos of the week, and you know, as we've already mentioned, NASCAR is going to be in Indy this weekend with all three series.
The mighty return of the true Brickyard 400. We'll see if it sucks or not, but I don't really care. I'm excited about it. So
I don't think it's gonna suck. I don't think we're gonna see a repeat of 2008 or anything, and no. I would hope the new car does well. You would think it would. I mean, but I guess we'll see what happens. So.
Yep.
So that'll be that, and then again, Eldora's Kings Royal. Rob already mentioned all the other shit going on. I'll be at Oswego on Friday for the Supermods, and Rob, you said you're going to be where now again?
Monadnock on Saturday night for the Duel with the Dog 200.
Cool. What about you, Ashley? You doing anything?
Hell no! It's so fucking hot outside.
It is hot. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little
Taking
cooler.
the summer off.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a little cooler this weekend, especially up in the mountains in New Hampshire, so I'm excited to not die, which I've been pretty fortunate this year. I don't think I've sweat too much at the racetrack this year. Definitely less than normal, despite the fact that temperatures have been 140 degrees around here, so it's been very nice. But yeah, if you're at Monadnock, come say what's up. Hopefully I run into my friends that I smoked weed off the ground with at Loudon. That'd be nice. I know they go to Monadnock quite often, so and I forgot your names, but and you're definitely not listening to this, but hopefully I run into them, so that'll be cool.
Oh, that's good. Well, it sounds like two of us will be doing stuff, and Ashley will be there to report on Indy for all of us, so that'll be good.
Taking all my Corey Lajoie notes.
Gonna have his radio on. You're gonna.
God no.
Oh man.
Well, I guess as always, you can follow us on Instagram at MeetMeAtApplebee's and on Twitter at MeetMeAtTheBees. I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.com is the store, and Meemaw, what are your plugs?
Just, send me all your favorite conspiracy theories on Instagram at Snake Mountain True Love.
Yeah. And I will also accept those conspiracy theories at RobMotes_unofficial on Instagram. My band's called These Wild Plains. We're not really doing anything for a little while coming up, but I'm excited to announce that, well, not really announce, it's just happening. My good buddy Brady Heck, who is our bass player, he's coming up here in a couple weeks to record a record, and I'm going to play drums on it, so it's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
Love Brady. Maybe I'll get him on the show or something while he's up here, but...
Lord help us.
Yeah.
Looks like Logan Schuchart won. I'm assuming this is the main event?
That's the feature. Logan Schuchart, folks. You heard it here first.
There we go.
Unless you're watching it last night when it was on, or read the internet today. Yeah, Logan Schuchart. I got a shark racing hat on as we speak. So
there you go. Cool. Well, with that, looks like was it Taylor? Who was it? Tanner. Tanner's here with our check.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you next week, folks. Have a good one.